Everybody, welcome back to the Purple Friday show here, episode 254. And we're here after a Ravens win. They survived by the skin of their teeth.
Keyword.
I mean, the mistakes. Was it two deflected passes from Lamar? One fumbled punt return by LaJohntay Wester, which was, in a game like that where it's so windy, it's one of those things special teams probably should tell those guys, hey, if he's kicking this side of the field, don't even try to field it. Like, because it's just, you don't know where the ball's going. If the wind catches it, if you have to move anywhere out of your spot, it's most likely you're not going to catch it. And he tried. I think Wester is desperate to try to make a play. We saw it in preseason where he got the return. And I think he's you know Malachi Starks got his. He got two picks now. I think Wester's trying to get his. But that was a play that could have ended in disaster. The Ravens held them to a field goal on that drive. But again, the red zone struggles for the Ravens. 1-4 in the red zone. What was it that Derrick Henry? It was wild that Derrick Henry run. He runs 60 yards down the field and gets caught by Denzel Ward. And I didn't like that. I was listening to the radio, and Mike Preston was saying, like, oh, I think Derrick Henry's lost a step, because Denzel Ward caught him. Usually that's a touchdown. I'm like, it's Denzel Ward. He's an all-pro cornerback. Like, this is not like I wouldn't be if it was anybody else. I'm like, I could understand. But I'm like, Derrick Henry, got out there and was able to get down the sideline. Now, I don't know about you, but I felt like when he didn't score, I was like, we're not scoring on this. We're not scoring this drive. I was like, we're not scoring. We're not scoring a touchdown. And it was like, and then sure enough, that's what happened. They had to end up kicking a field goal there. And then the touchdown they score with Derrick Henry, you had to use Zay Flowers to help push him in there to get into the red zone, get into the end zone. So their struggles in the red zone, they're at 50%, or I think it's under that now. It might be just lower than 50% this season when they were at 75% last year. So yeah, they win the game. Defense played well. Again, I'll take it. I'll say that with a grain of salt in the sense that they were playing against Dylan Gabriel and Shador Sanders, who had 0 snaps for the first team offense. Um, so before I further get into it, what were your takeaways? I mean, so again, they survived. They survived this week. A win is a win, I guess. But what do you think? What do you take it from it?
I think you said this before. Correct me if I'm wrong. If it was you or Trey, that we don't seem to ever have complete games. We're either talking about the defense needs to step up, the defense isn't doing what they need to do, or the offense can't do anything. It's like we never had both fully operating the way they should. And that was this game. The defense played really well. Granted, this was like Dylan Gabriel with the noodle arm, and then Shador Sanders with no reps against the first team. Doesn't do much until that last drive. But overall, there was more pressure. There's a couple plays that we should have made. There's a couple plays we gave up. But overall, it was a good game by the defense. Offensively, I don't know, man. I just don't know. And the fact is, I think what makes it even crazier is we get all these viral videos of our offensive line. I don't know if it's like on everyone's timeline, but it's on my timeline day in and day out. Viral videos of our guard play. You got Falafel lost again, falling, tumbling, prime Falafel just on the ground somewhere, not blocking someone. And now you got Voorhees spinning in circles, not making plays. I mean, it's just the offensive line is. I mean, what else can we say? I mean, we said it's bad. I mean, it's not getting better. It's not getting worse because I mean, bad is bad. But I think the concerning thing is the turnovers. I think the first one, granted, it wasn't the ball placement wasn't conducive for a running back because running backs don't typically have great hands. But it was a catchable ball for Keaton Mitchell. So he should have caught it, like, period. And that led to interception. The second one, I mean, the pressure got there and the ball got deflected. I mean, it kind of like it is what it is. But the turnovers are concerning because, with the offensive line like this, you got to capitalize on your opportunities. because this offensive line is not going to hold up for 4 quarters and protect your quarterback. Lamar missed practice again this week with another injury. I think this week it was his ankle. I mean, our quarterback's getting banged up, and you're seeing it in the game. He's getting banged up. He's not going to be able to run like he normally does, so he has to sit there and throw the ball. Um, and the fact that they're not protecting him, not giving him time to throw the ball, is concerning. The other piece is when he does have a pocket, guys aren't getting open, and I don't know what's going on with the scheme. I haven't like looked at all 22 to see like what's going on with our scheme running routes, but I know last week there wasn't a lot of underneath the Zay, the usual stuff that gets the offense in rhythm. And that's what I noticed big time. Lamar wasn't in rhythm the whole game. He was out there making plays. It doesn't seem like there was a script early on to get him in rhythm. Which against a team that has Myles Garrett on the other side, you want to get that out. You want to get the ball out quick. You want to get some quick throws, get him tired. We talked about it last week with the game plan, but we didn't see that executed by the Ravens. So I think offensive line, play calling, and then Lamar, you got to put some blame on him. He didn't. It wasn't his best game at all. He did not have a good game at all. He was very inaccurate. There were some times where he held the ball too long. There were some times where I just felt like he should have took off and he didn't. And I don't know if that's due to him like being so dinged up, but it just wasn't our MV3 quarterback. So when you look at the totality of it all, like offensively, it was a really rough game. And highlight to your banner right there. Ravens survive against the Browns. We should never survive against the Browns. We should thrive against the Browns. So all overall, like not an impressive game. I think it created more concerns for me moving forward.
Yeah, and like you brought up the Myles Garrett thing. That thing got on my nerves. I'm like, what was it? It was back to back. Like it was a sack that ended the one drive. They punt. They get the ball back. And the very next play, they get the ball back. Myles Garrett sacks him again. And it was just like, what are we doing here? Like everybody said, I mean, not even just commentators locally, but nationally, it was like, your O-line is struggling. They have been struggling all year. And you're going up against arguably the best edge rusher in the NFL right now. Like I know they talk about Micah Parsons and everything, but Myles Garrett might single-handedly be in the last 2 years. I think he's the best edge rusher in the NFL right now, hands down.
Absolutely.
Like one-on-one, they literally can move him anywhere on the line, and he plays something. He'll play outside, he'll play inside. Doesn't matter. He's getting pressure on the quarterback. How do you not protect your quarterback, who's also still dealing with a hamstring injury? And you can tell they said there were times where it felt like Lamar could have gone, but I think Lamar is, I think it's in his head now. He's seeing ghosts. He doesn't know what's around him. Like I said, like Corey said in the chat, Falele is out there blocking his own teammates. Like he's literally pushing the own linemen into the spaces they don't need to be pushed in. I remember that one play. I think it was, I can't remember what the result of the play was, but it was literally Ronnie Stanley one-on-one with Myles Garrett, and Myles Garrett is like just trucking him. Like Ronnie Stanley has no anchor whatsoever. He's just getting backpedaled, and Lamar has to like move to the right just to get out of the way from where Myles Garrett. Like he has no, like even the Ronnie Stanley at his best right now is failing. This whole line just looks bad. Everybody just looks bad right now, and I'll say this. When they said like, when the Ravens have struggled, with O-line, like, where is it? Is it in practice? Is it this? Is that? I'm like, they lost this issue in off season. This happened way before. This has nothing to do week to week. We're going into week 12 now. It is what it is. Coaching, whatever it is going to be, I'm guaranteed they've run through the same drills week in and week out. And Falele is still out there not knowing where he needs to block, falling over himself, blocking ghosts, blocking air. Like he's, not doing this. He is not a professional football player. He's just not. Like, he's one of those guys that literally was drafted because of his size. That's it. He's 6'7", like 370 pounds. Like he's literally was drafted because of his size and thought they could teach him how to play football. He just can't. He can't play football. I'm sorry. Like he's showing no no growth whatsoever. We can look at what happened last year and how he played a little bit better. He's gotten worse. Even Tyler Linderbaum looks bad right now. Voorhees looks bad right now. And then, like you said, some of this does go too as well on this. I can't really say it's the receiving core. I don't know if it's really them. It's like you said, as much as it's the scheme. Because last year they were getting open. Like they had a similar struggle last year, and then around this time of year, Shy Bateman was getting open. Zay came back when he was healthy, was getting open. Likely was getting open, but now all of a sudden, guys aren't getting open anymore. Like Likely he got one catch. He had 2 catches last week for 15 yards. Zay Flowers, who's supposed to be their number 1 receiver, only had 3 catches. If you take away that big play he had earlier in the game to get him into the red zone, he doesn't have a lot of targets and catches. Mark Andrews, 3 catches for 32 yards. So again, it's like you said, I think we said going into the game, knowing the line is the way it is, and you're going against Jim Schwartz, who you know is going to blitz you, right? You know this is going to happen. Why not do more of the quick game stuff? Do more drag routes, do more the rub routes, whatever they are, to just get guys in space, just to get guys open. You know, those RPO leaks where the guy just – I've seen the plays where they'll line up the wide receiver like on the line of scrimmage next to a tackle and just run them to the right or to the left just to get them open, you know, and give them some blocking or some kind of like these like, you know, screen plays, stuff like that. And they're not doing any of that. I don't know why. Like, again, we've said time and time again, why are the Ravens running 20 yards down the field? They're running 20 yards down the field, and there's nobody near Lamar when you're panning out looking when he's trying to run around. There's nobody there. There's nobody there for him for an outlet pass or anything. And I know everybody's gonna, you know, they gave so much credit to Monken for the Mark Andrews, you know, fake push play, whatever he ran around. And look, it was a great play. Don't get me wrong, it was a phenomenal call. They faked him out completely. But what I hate is, I think like Trey said in the chat, I don't like the fact we used that against the Browns. I would have rather used that in a playoff game against Bills, you know, to win the game, like a Bills or a Chiefs or something like that. But now that it's on tape, you know, I don't think anybody's gonna get faked out by that anymore. They're gonna be ready for it. So yeah, I'm not gonna give. I don't know about you, but since the Dolphins game, because they struggled in that first half of the Dolphins game too. Lamar does throw 4 touchdowns in the game, so it kind of cleans it up a little bit. But the last 2 weeks, it feels like this offense has gotten worse. It's just regressed completely. It's regressed completely. I don't know if that's because like Rashad Bateman's down the field. Tez Walker was active. I don't think he got any targets in that game. Wallace got 1 target in the end zone. You know, that clearly should have been a personal pass interference, but wasn't called. But like you said, even when the Ravens were making plays, it was so sporadic. It didn't feel – there was no flow. It just felt very sporadic. Like the Ravens were literally like, we have to break one. They were literally thriving on, instead of being able to just get 5 yards here, get 7 yards here, get 9 yards here, get 5 yards here, and move down the field. They were like, we need a splash play, because if we don't get a splash play, we're not moving down the field. It's not happening. And I was like, you can't win that way. You can't. You just can't win that way. I will give a shout out though to Tyler Lute. I'll give him credit. He kicked some what's the word I'm looking for? He kicked it was a 45-yarder in the wind that was like to tie the game. Like, I was like, I'll give him credit. I'll give him credit because like in Cleveland and that kind of atmosphere where Cleveland fans were rowdy and everything, and he kicked that, he tied the game out, because I was worried a little bit. Is he gonna make this kick? Anything over 30 yards with Tyler Lute now, I'm like, is he gonna make this kick? And he made the kick, so I give him credit for that. But special teams again, not great. You know, like you said, like I have yet to. Like, it feels like what was their complete game this year? What would you say? What was their complete game this year?
There's none.
I haven't seen one.
Not one. Yeah. You know, like, you know, it feels like offensively, Todd Monken has cut out half the playbook. Yeah. And it's because they realize that this offensive line is getting better. They have who they have. And I don't hey, if I'm jumping the gun, stop me here. Harbaugh's comments, right? About, you know, they're asking him why we're not if we're going to make any changes. He's like, these are the 5 best guys. If that's not blowing smoke to make himself look good for the falafel project, are we truly living in a world where those are the 5 best guys on the team? Because hear me out, like when you think about the totality of it, like our play call is changing. They're not shifting guys, they're not moving guys around, they're not benching guys. They're taking away play calls. And is that truly because these are truly the 5 best guys we have and there's no cavalry on the way? So we have to now adjust the game plan to fit that we can't protect and our guards are going to let guys do every time. That's what it honestly feels like. Like we're not calling the same plays that we were calling the beginning of the season. We're limiting the playbook. It looks clunky. There's no
Mhm.
rhythm. Why is that? Is it because there's just nobody better that's going to step up and hold the fort down?
And that's the thing, right? Like Ravens, as long as I've been a Ravens fan, I'm pretty sure you have. I feel like the old line, like they've had some old lines that have been questionable, but they've had decent backups where if they need to swap anybody out, just to get change how the energy is on the line to see if these guys are a better unit together, they've been able to do that. They don't have that. They haven't had that the last 2 years. When they got rid of Makari and didn't really kind of replace him, and you're literally relying on Voorhees is a rookie this year. He didn't play all of last year. Well, not the end of last year he played, but still pretty much a rookie. You got Falele out here, still a project at right guard. Rosengarten is only in his second year. Emory Jones, who they drafted, is now ramping up to get ready to play. I don't know if he's going to play. They brought it up. They re-signed Ben Cleveland back to the roster after he was out, and they re-signed him. They don't use him at all. He's a scratch every single week. I don't know what the thinking was. I don't really know what the thinking was when they were drafting these offensive linemen. I really don't. I don't understand it. And it goes back to, I think, EDC and Harbaugh, where after Joe D passed, I think he was very integral in helping EDC and Harbaugh and Ozzie for the most part draft O linemen. He was very well respected in the NFL for his O line coaching. You could see it didn't matter who was in there when Joe D was in there. Like they were right. He made sure everybody was right. But it feels like the coaches they have in there now at O line, I'm like, what are they doing? They're not getting better. Like
No.
usually you see O lines, and that's any unit in the NFL where they start off a little bit, struggling a little bit. But I'm not saying they're going to be great, but they progressively get better as the game goes on. But you're seeing this line, you're seeing Falele each week. Like the fact that I don't think I've ever seen so many clips of one player making bad plays for this team every single week. They literally have like these awful, awful tape on Falele every single week. Every week. Like there are a few times we can point to where Zay had a bad game or Lamar had a bad game or whatever. But Falele, when he walks on the field, he's just like, I'm glad to be here. Like I think he knows if he were to get cut today, that'll be the end of his football career. Yeah. He's not getting signed by anybody. Like he's trash. He's absolute trash. And for Harbaugh to come out and say, the coaches, that's another thing too. We're in week 12. And I was listening to the radio and this coach speak that they do. Like we're in week 12. Don't try to gaslight me, man. Don't gaslight. We know what it is. We see this. Lamar Jackson, I'm worried. Is he even going to hold up through week 17, week 18? Right. I'm worried. Is he going to hold up? Because we haven't even played the Steelers yet. You saw what the Steelers did, 2 weeks ago? You saw that. I'm worried for Lamar. I'm worried for him, for real. Like, if TJ Watt or was it Herbig and Highsmith and if they get a hold of him, like I'm hoping he survives to week 17, 18. I hope he survives, man. And people, I mean, I see the people online now criticizing Lamar, like, oh, he's got an ankle injury. He just needs to suck it up. I'm like, if you're getting hit, I think this is the most he's been sacked in his career this season. This is the most he's ever been hit. And the fact that he was already dealing with a hamstring injury, so he just can't go run and take off the way he usually does. And when you also have an offense where your receivers aren't getting open, you're not getting the ball out quick. He's getting frustrated. Lamar, like constantly now, it feels like each week he's just getting more frustrated, more frustrated. Now, I will say, that may be also due to the fact that they've been playing on the road for the last 3 weeks. Lamar comes off an injury on the road. Like he hasn't been home, played a home game in 4 or 5 weeks. Like it's been a while. So maybe some of this does get cured when they go back and play the Jets on Sunday. You know, they're back home, crowd, you know, everything, energy's there. But again, Falele still playing right guard. It's not working. And we honestly, I think a lot of us thought when Ricard got back that maybe he can help, you know, chip and do other stuff. So I'm like, that didn't work, which I didn't understand. You brought Ricard back and didn't do any chipping on Myles Garrett. I think they waited until after he got his 3rd sack to start chipping Myles Garrett. They're like, why wasn't that the game plan coming out? Like, hey, I think, like you said, sometimes you got to be aware of just aware of the team you're playing and the players you're playing against. Yeah. You may want to, hey, let's air it out. You want to air it out each week. Sometimes that, you know, this week we can't do that this week. We can't air it out this week. We're going to have to do some dinking and dunking. We're going to run the football. You know, maybe we'll do some, you know, toss plays, things like that or whatever in space. And you guys can get your yards like that. But as far as running down the field and just getting wide open passes, it ain't happening this week. Nope. We're not going to have the time. We're just not for these long developing plays. And like you said, I feel like it feels like they have the same playbook for every game. They literally just have the same playbook instead of saying, all right, this is the team we're playing this week. These are these guys we got to worry about. And that's kind of going to limit what we can do with these plays, but let's substitute those with these. And that way we can get our offense, you know, moving the way we need to. But it feels like they're running the same stuff each week and just hope it works. Just hope it works.
Yeah. It's rough. I don't know. We you know, we have a long way to go. We have a long list of teams to beat. Teams are falling off. Records are changing. You know, it's looking like, you know, I think either y'all posted in the chat or I saw it on Twitter. It's like this is our time to win out and get a home playoff game because look, the Chiefs and the Bills are not about to win their division.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
They're not. The Patriots and what's those people? The Broncos.
Yeah,
like they're running away with the regular season. So like it's not about to happen for the Bills and the Chiefs to win their division, which means they are either going to be out of the playoffs or they're going to get an away game. So I think for us, we have to have that urgency now because if we, you know, run the gauntlet or only drop like 1 or 2 more games or just one game, we have a chance to have a home playoff game. Maybe play one of those 2 teams who look like they have these big gaping holes, and then and then have a chance to like really run the table. Because like seriously, in the playoffs, do you have confidence in Bo Nix and Drake May in their first play? Well, second for Bo Nix, but in the playoffs?
No. Yeah,
no, that's an ideal matchup.
Yeah.
So you know, we would have to see. We'd have to definitely see. But there's urgency that we do have to win out. Yeah, like Corey pointed out, like, you know, they have tiebreakers over us, so it's even more important that we do win out. But we have to have some urgency here. We can't just go into these games like we've been, like, and just hoping that teams roll over for us. So that's all I gotta say on that.
And before we move on to like how we feel about this team going forward, I think that's the frustrating thing looking at this team from last year and how prolific that offense was and how good they were. And I'm like, it's roughly the same squad, and they're struggling. Like but I think a lot of that too is you do have some young players on the receiving core. You have some young players on the line. And you just don't. When I'm looking at this coaching staff for the O-line, a lot of these guys don't even have professional, like NFL, like tenure. A lot of these guys Harbaugh pulled from college. He put a lot of these guys from college. This is their first NFL job. And so they're not really, prepped to, deal with the move, like a lot of the edge rush moves that a lot of these guys use in the NFL that they don't use in college. Like, in college, a lot of these guys just like, I'm already faster than you, I'm already bigger than you. Like, I can just push you around or run past you. But in the NFL, when you're playing a lot of these on the guys on the other side, these guys are all, all Big Ten, all SEC. They're the same as you are. So you got to do that extra stuff to, get past them. And I feel like the O line play is they're not used to Myles Garrett and T.J. Watt and Aiden Hutchinson and these guys that you have these kind of pass rush moves, and they just look confused. They just look confused. There was that one play I think where Myles Garrett or somebody smacked Rosengarten out of he just smacked him out of the way. He hit him in the helmet, like in the ear, and just went boom. And Rosengarten was falling on the ground. I'm like, again, like these guys they're not prepared week in and week out for the competition that they're playing. But again, I get that goes. I think that goes back to, you're not seeing any development. You're seeing no development from your O line. Like we have seen O lines for this Ravens team that have started out bad, but at the end of the season, they've gotten good. They've been one of the better units the last 3 or 4 weeks of the season. We're looking at this line right now. It's like, it's not going to get any better. It's not. And then you're going up against a Jets defense that, they've gotten rid of a few players, but they still have a solid defensive line. You're going to play the Steelers twice. This is not going to get any easier. The only reprieve I think they have is playing the Bengals. Their defense is just that bad. The only reprieve they have is playing the Bengals. But again, it feels like the defense is finally coming together. And shout out to Awuzie, who made that phenomenal play in the end zone, knocking that ball out. Like, because that guy had it. That was a catch. That was a touchdown. And he knocks that. He just wipes his hand back and knocks it out. Saved the game. So this defense is coming together. So we're seeing on the defensive side of the ball, like the coaching or whatever it is, like moving the guys around and stuff, that has worked. They've made some adjustments. Offensive side of the ball, Monken and his crew, it feels like there's nothing being done there. And I feel like, T. Martin, the quarterback coach for Lamar, I think his hands are tied. He's like, I'm trying to help Lamar, but he's like, look, man, dude, you only got 2 seconds. Yeah. You don't have 3 or 4 seconds and Monken's making the play calls. And it's like, I don't know if there's just a lost in, if they're trying to tell Monken, hey, you're going to have to put some more stuff in there for Lamar to get the ball out quicker, something. More shovel passes or something to the line of scrimmage just to get the ball out of his hands so he doesn't get hit. And I don't know if Monken is, the egos on this team, especially the coaching staff and like Harbaugh and them, are just so, their egos are so big that it's just like, I'm going to do what I'm going to do and it's going to work. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But I'm going to do what I'm going to do, regardless of what's happening. So, I mean, we have 4 weeks left? Yeah, 12. Oh, we're on week 12 now. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 games?
Yeah.
We have 6 games left. How are we feeling?
7
like
games.
We're at 5-5. We're even.
Yeah.
Do you think we sweep the Steelers and the Bengals, or do we split? Because that could change up. That changes everything. If we said earlier the Ravens would have to sweep this division, but the way they're playing right now, I feel like the Steelers could take one of those games.
You don't know what Steelers you're going to get. That's the hard part.
Yeah. It's Aaron Rodgers is dealing with a broken wrist or whatever he's dealing with, his non-throwing hand.
You don't know which team you're going to get with them. So, I mean, I think on the low end, I think we win 3 out of 4. On the high end, we can win them all. I honestly, I just don't see the Bengals winning games against us. They just have a lot of issues.
Mm-hmm.
Really, that defense. I think that's probably the one team Falafel can hold up against. But the Steelers worry me. But if we get I don't know what the injury status on Aaron Rodgers is as far as like when he can return.
Right.
But if we got him, I mean, we may get geriatric Aaron Rodgers and sweep both of those games. So I think on the low end we win 3, high end we win them all.
So right now I have the Ravens Jets this week. I got that winning 6-5. I think we get the Bengals on Thanksgiving night. I think we're at home, so I think we win that one. We have 3 straight home games coming up. We got the Jets, Bengals, and the Steelers. I think we can win all 3 of those at home. So that would put us at 6-5, 7-5, 8-5, leaving the last 3 games last 4 games against the Bengals, Patriots, Packers, and Steelers. So I think the only avenue for the Ravens is to win the division. With the Steelers, the rest of their record as well, there's a chance that the Ravens could take a game or 2 lead on them. And necessarily the head-to-head matchups don't matter as much. They'll have a better record. But they'll be limping into the playoffs. Like you said, they would have, at that point, to be honest, I think the Ravens would just have to hope that they have, like you said, maybe you play a Patriots again. Maybe you play the Broncos and, hopefully like a Bo Nix makes some turnovers and makes some mistakes. He hasn't been playing great this year. Like their offense for the Broncos, it's okay. It's not that great. Their defense is phenomenal. It's top notch. Their defense is top notch. And I feel like the Patriots are one of those teams where look at their schedule. They haven't really played anybody. And they've been playing a lot of mostly bad teams. They have a good record, but they really haven't. I mean, outside the Bills, but we've seen the Bills now the last 3 weeks, and they're not afraid of anybody. So, like you said, now with the Chiefs the way they are and the Bills the way they are, this is why it's wide open. It's really going to depend on what team gets hot. This is going to be one of those weird years. I feel like on the AFC side where it's like may not be the Chiefs, it may not be the Bills, it could just be some random team. It could be the Colts, could be the Pats. Pats, if they get hot, could be back in there. It's the wild west right now.
It surely is.
So, if the Ravens can stay healthy, I think it's got to be imperative for the Ravens. We got to find a way to keep Lamar on his feet for the next 6 weeks. We got to keep Lamar on his feet for the next 6 weeks. Keep him clean. However that happens, keep him clean for the next 6 weeks. I think it would have to be imperative for this Ravens offense. Let's score as many points as we can, get Lamar off the field.
Yeah.
So he can sit down. Like that's my mindset. Let's score as many points as we can, get Lamar off the field.
Score early, often. Sit them 4 quarters like what's his name in the NBA? Shea, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. Sit them 4 quarters.
Yeah,
get them out of here.
Got to get it going. So, yeah, I don't feel great about the Ravens right now, but we'll have to wait and see. Again, it depends on this line and how they make actually any changes to the scheme and everything else going on. So, week 11 stories. I kind of want to talk about. We just saw last night the Texans without C.J. Stroud, with Davis Mills at quarterback, beat the Buffalo Bills. And we talked, before the show even started about, Josh Allen. I don't know if you've seen, there's been so many on the shows now with First Take and even on Acho's show and stuff like that on YouTube. Before the game this past week, where they put out 40 points or scored something against the Buccaneers and they blow them out or whatever, 44-20 something year points. And Josh Allen has 5 or 6 touchdowns in the game. But before that, when they lost to the Dolphins, they were like, "Oh, Josh Allen has no help. Josh Allen needs I don't know what's wrong. They got to get him some help, man. I don't know what's going on. He can't win with this team." The very next week, they win, put up 5 or 6 touchdowns. Now he's an MVP, he's the best player in the NFL. I've never seen a guy more athletic than Josh Allen. And then they come on a Thursday night against the Texans team that's not that good, and they lose. And there was that one play where it was at a 3rd and 9 or it was 3rd and something, and he runs 18 yards in the backfield.
Yeah,
and they
just
make it
on his circles.
And a 4th and 27. They end up converting it, 4th and 27.
Yeah.
But then he throws a pick. He throws a pick at the end of the game to lose the football game. Meanwhile, on the Lamar side, he just hasn't played good football. I don't know what it is. And this is why I think why it's important for local voices and people that cover their teams locally are more important on the national scale than these Stephen A. Smiths and the rest of these people that literally just watching the box score. They're looking at the stat line, they're looking at this, or looking at the PFF scores and stuff like that, and judging it based on that versus actually watching the football game. Because the people at home are telling you, yeah, look, Lamar didn't have a great game this week, but also he's got no time back there. I don't care what quarterback you throw back there right now. If you're playing against that O-line, it looks bad right now. And then a combination, like you said earlier, of the scheme, the lack of scheme or whatever it is, no rhythm on the offense, it's going to be really hard to play quarterback right now for the Baltimore Ravens. Really hard. But if you listen to the national media, oh, I don't get it. Lamar's just not playing good football right now. Maybe he's just dealing with the hamstring, or, maybe he's past his prime. I've heard people say that. Maybe he's past his prime. It's like, maybe it's just not happening for him this year or whatever. I'm like, you guys don't clearly watch the game. Lamar, it's wild, right? When you look at Lamar's career, it took them 5 years to even get Lamar like a really true number one wide receiver, a true talent around with Likely, Andrews, Bateman, Zay Flowers, all that talent around him, get Derrick Henry. And now that he has all that, now he has no O-line. he's like you can't have it both ways. I just don't understand it. I don't get it. And I do feel that the Ravens are wasting his prime. They're wasting his talent. This will be his best football, I think, of his career. The years he's in right now, playing the best football of his career. And how do you have a 2-time MVP, should be 3-time MVP, and not have been to a Super Bowl? And I think a lot of it has to do with the dereliction of duty between Harbaugh and EDC of not in a win now mode. You heard them earlier in the season when they asked him, is this Super Bowl a bust? And Harbaugh like, that's a silly question. They're not in win now mode. We're thinking about next year. No, you don't know if you have next year. There's no guarantee you're going to make the Super Bowl next year. There's no guarantee. If you got the squad, you got Lamar Jackson right now in his prime. You need to be trying every single year to go win a chip.
Yeah.
Go make that trade. Go spend that extra dollar, whatever that is. Go try to win a Super Bowl. Ravens fans can see it. And it's like, I'm hoping we don't get to that point where we're like, what if? What if? But the same thing on the Bills side. The Bills on their side, it feels like they're not doing enough with Josh Allen. The defense is that they had a good defense for a few years, but they let a lot of those guys go. The receiving core, they really haven't invested anything into that when Stephon Diggs left.
Yeah.
I feel like Josh Allen's the same way in Buffalo. They're literally relying on both squads are both relying on their quarterbacks to just go win the game. And I think for people that don't understand football, these guys don't play both sides of the ball. It's not baseball. It's not basketball, where these guys or soccer, where these guys play on offense and defense. Lamar has to go play offense and sit on the sideline and hope that the special teams and defense do their jobs so that he can go win a football game. It's the true team sport. You literally are relying on two different units to go do their jobs. And I hate it when they this notion, it's Josh Allen versus Lamar. It's not Josh Allen. It's Josh Allen versus the Baltimore defense. It's Lamar versus the Bills defense. And if Lamar goes out there and throws 3 touchdowns, 4 touchdowns, and they lose the game, look at Joe Burrow right now. Before he got hurt, Joe Burrow could throw 4 or 5 touchdowns with the Bengals and they still lose.
Yeah,
still lose. You're totally relying on somebody else. So I hate this notion of Lamar winning MVP, which is an individual award, versus the Super Bowl. They criticize him for the Super Bowl and Josh Allen for the Super Bowl, which is a team award.
Yeah,
team achievement. So I'm like, we got to get better about when we're judging these quarterbacks, especially because especially when you look in the Hall of Fame. Most players can go into the Hall of Fame without ever sniffing a Super Bowl, but it's like quarterbacks for some odd reason can't get into the Hall unless they win one.
Yep.
Unless you're like Dan Marino. But it's like every other player, like, oh yeah, never seen the Super Bowl, still make the Hall of Fame. The quarterbacks, for whatever reason, have to get there to be one-man wrecking crew.
Yeah, it's unfair, but I mean, it's just like now we judge our superstars off of their in the NBA. We judge them off of their championships. You look at a guy like Melo. they treat him like he's just an average all-star because of his lack of chips,
Right.
when the guy was so much more than that. So when you look at this, I mean, it's kind of like Corey's saying, like hot take culture. You get one or two people spewing a narrative, that narrative spreads on the social media, it spreads with all these viral videos. And then people nowadays are they don't have their own thoughts, where they run with whatever's spreading. And that's the opinion.
Yeah.
I had someone speak with me, and they're like, "Yeah, how you feel about Lamar, man? Like, and this was like last year. He was like, he just got to get better passing in the pocket." And I looked at him like, he's been the best pocket passer this whole year.
Yeah.
I mean, look at
Best
this stat,
QBR.
look at this stat, look at this
Yeah.
stat. Like, what are you talking about? He was like, "Oh, well, I just, a lot of people say that, he just got to get better in the pocket." I was like, who's saying it? Because they
Right.
probably don't
Who's
know what they're
saying
talking about.
it? Yeah.
If you actually watch the games, you would see that Lamar is killing it from the pocket.
Mhm.
Some of his best throws are from the pocket. So, I mean, it's just the I guess the current state of sports media is spew a take without any type of intelligence, evidence, or reason. So it's just the world we live in, man. It's hard to live in this as an athlete. I'm glad I'm not a professional athlete, because
Yeah.
I would hate to have to deal with this type of environment. And it's why a lot of them, you got KD with the burner phones. um, they're fighting back, but it's got to be tough. And I see why even some are just like, they're just tuned out from social media, just because it's just too much BS out there.
Yeah, and also saw I didn't click on the episode, but it was the Acho and Shady show, and the tagline for Josh Allen was, "Josh Allen has to win a Super Bowl this year." Why? Why does he have to win a Super Bowl this year? He's going to be playing for hopefully the next 10. John Elway didn't win a Super Bowl until he was 36, 37 years old.
Yeah.
Peyton Manning didn't win one until he was 35. Like, he has to win one now. Why? Why does he have to win one now? I think Lamar and Josh Allen aren't even 30 yet. Like,
Nope.
Can we stop writing these guys stories before they're done? Let's stop writing their stories before they're done. Because there are guys that they're looking at, like when Justin Herbert came in the league, oh, he's going to win like 3 or 4 championships. We don't know. We don't know how these stories are going to pan out. I think I miss the days where we could just watch players play and just enjoy like the journey, and then when they're done, you can you look at all the clips and look at all the documentaries and stuff like that and relive the moments and really kind of take in the journey, because every journey of every legend we've seen, they've had their ups and downs. They've had good years, they've had bad years. It's about how they rebound and how they come back and stuff like that. And I think this is just part of. I think Josh Allen and both Lamar are probably going to have I'm not saying Super Bowls, but they'll be in Super Bowls. I think both of them will be in Super Bowls at some point. And just be, when they get there, I think we said the same thing about Jalen Hurts. And it's one of those things where once you win that one, a lot of times for these guys, once you win that one, it's like something just turns on. Yeah. Once you get that one out of the way, something turns on. So
not for Jalen Hurts, though. Not for Jalen Hurts.
No, Jalen. Yeah, well, we can talk. the segue into that. The Eagles right now. I'll ask: Do you think it's more of the coordinator, like the OC there right now, because or is it a little bit of Jalen Hurts too? Like I feel like they're trying to. It does feel like they're trying to put more blame on the OC that's there, and why AJ Brown's not getting the ball, why they're not running the ball well with Saquon, and how the offense just seems like to be sputtering right now. Versus, some people are trying to put it on Jalen. Jalen's just not that good of a thrower. I think maybe the OC try to put more complex passing schemes on the playbook, and he just couldn't do it. I don't know, but it feels like how Monken is here right now. Whatever happens this year, it feels like the OC there maybe getting out of town. Do you think it's a little bit of both, or does it feel like that the OC there is just not equipped to really run that offense?
It's everything. It's everything. I've seen so many clips of AJ Brown just running wide open and Hurts isn't even looking at him. I seen Hurts just completely missing him. And like Corey said, he targets Smith. Like he favors Devontae Smith, who, is more, he's a guy that can run the whole route tree, very crisp on routes. And, Jalen can put the ball in those areas probably a lot more than the type of throws he would make to AJ Brown. And then the offensive coordinator, you gotta scheme it up. You have to scheme it up. Like, he has to be the primary on some of these plays, and get him the ball. So it's a little bit of everything. I mean, the Eagles play ugly football. I think I was telling y'all last week when the Eagles were playing, like, I hate watching them play. Like, all I see is bad football. And it's painful to watch. Like, I just turned the game off. But Jalen Hurts isn't a great quarterback. He's serviceable. And then when you throw in his athleticism, he can be good. But if you put him on any other team, he's a mediocre quarterback. Very mediocre. So, like, it's a little bit of both. It's just a tough thing to watch. And I understand AJ Brown's frustration. And now they're trying to silence him from saying anything, and he's still talking.
Mm-hmm.
So
he's going to every platform possible.
He's
on Twitch.
He's letting it be known.
Yeah.
All the way around. So
yeah. So the Eagles are, they're still winning, but they do feel like one of those teams where when they get figured out, it's like it's going to be like a snowball effect, like for them, where they just can't get out of it. And we talked about the Bills, or recently. Who else? Oh, we can talk about the Broncos beat the Chiefs 22-19, where I think the Panthers have a better record right now than the Chiefs do. And they're 5-5. Everybody said, and I think I said it too, once Rashee Rice and them came back, that they were going to be clicking and they're going to be ready to go. And does it feel like that window has closed? At least this window. Like, I don't feel like the window has closed completely for Pat Mahomes and the Chiefs. But I think somebody said on the radio, made a good point. It feels like when, I think after they won a Super Bowl and after they lost a Super Bowl in 2007, and they didn't go back for like another 8-9 years before they went back again. Like, this iteration of the Chiefs, like this, does it feel like this is done now?
Yeah. I mean, Chris Jones, how old is Chris Jones? Chris Jones got to be in his 30s.
Mm-hmm.
And you got Kelsey's old as dirt. I mean, he's not old as dirt, but he's old. Chris Jones, a defensive tackle / end in his 30s. He got some more time, but at the level he's always played at, where he's just completely wrecking an offense, I don't know how much more time he has left, because he's kind of hurt a lot over his career. So you don't know how his body's going to break down, and you can see that decline. But when you look across the board at the Chiefs, they have a lot of short contract guys.
Yeah.
Not a lot of homegrown guys across the board. You got a couple pieces on defense. You have, a couple young receivers between Worthy and Rashee Rice. Isaiah Pacheco is really not a guy. Kareem Hunt is going to phase out soon. And then, of course, the big thing, Kelsey. I can see it being a couple seasons where they completely fall off and they're loading up on draft picks, getting these young guys in there, and eventually reloading back to a playoff team. But yeah, you're totally spot on when you say, like, this iteration of the Chiefs is probably getting close to being done. I don't think we'll see them as a contender this year or next year or even the year after that.
Yeah. Like I said, Mahomes, as long as Mahomes is a quarterback, they'll always have a shot. No, they'll probably make the playoffs, but they're going to have to shuffle some things around before they, get there. So just so we can get back on time. So let's do Ravens Jets preview. So Ravens back home, and 1 o'clock game. Back home after 3 weeks, and couldn't happen any sooner for this team. Felt like they've been struggling the last, especially the last 2 weeks. We know Mamar's dealing with the ankle. He didn't practice on Wednesday, but he was a full participant yesterday, and I believe he will be this today as well. Bateman did not practice. Keon Martin has been out with a rib. I think he hasn't practiced so far in 2 days. Roquan Smith had a hamstring, did not practice. As was as of Thursday. Isaiah Likely also calf did not practice. Limited participation for the Ravens. Kyle Hamilton, Voorhees, full workout. Justice Hill was back dealing with his toe. Marlon was back as well. And yeah, Lamar was a full participant as well this week. It does look like Tyrod Taylor is going to be the quarterback for the Jets this Sunday. Again, the Jets are in a situation right now where they're just kind of like they have 2 wins on the year. They've traded away a good portion of their good players already to other teams. It does feel like a game where the Ravens should just throw up 35, 40 points. This should, right? It should feel like a game where the Ravens put up 35, 40 points. But with how this offense has operated the last 3 weeks, it's going to be what? See, it's 57 degrees. Looks like no rain in Baltimore on Sunday. So a good day altogether. But I think a lot of it is the Jets still have a decent line. And they can get pressure on the interior. They may not necessarily on the edge, but they can get pressure on the interior. And the run game, it does feel like with Henry has been struggling, and the line has been struggling. Henry's been getting attacked at before the line of scrimmage. He's not even getting out of the break. He's getting the ball handed off to him. He's getting tackled right there. He's not even really getting any kind of getting past the second line without any yards before contact. I think we said it in the previous game, getting Zay more involved. They have a lot of weapons. There is no excuse why this Ravens team, why there shouldn't be 8 to 9 different targets for Lamar Jackson to get the ball to this week. This is the week to go try that stuff out. Get some short stuff together. Get Likely more involved. Get Collard more involved. Hell, get Ricard. Get him some passes in the open field. 300-pound man running down the middle of the field. I don't think anybody wants to tackle him. Like, get him involved. Do something. This is the time they got to get right. They got to get right. You got divisional games coming up. Got to get right.
Did I lose you, Miles?
No, you're there. You're good.
Oh, okay. Cool. Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I mean, this has got to be a game where we break out all the stops offensively. So, well, I think Corey's getting at where my feeling is. There's had to be some guys like a Tez Walker, more Keith Mitchell. You got to get these guys involved. So, I've said this for the past 3 years. Get your guys the ball in space. Get your playmakers the ball in space. Create threats. This Jets team is depleted, but they played their best ball over the past 3 games. So they have some momentum on that as a team, and this can easily be another Browns game where we have to survive.
Yeah.
But if you're getting your guys in space and getting them involved early, they definitely have a chance to put points up early, get them defeated. They got Tyrod Taylor's old tail back there at quarterback this week, I believe. Yeah, because I don't think he's still hurt. I could be wrong. No, looks like he's good. So I mean, they got him back there, experienced quarterback. Anything can happen. So I think you got to get your guys the ball early. You got to score early, and then from there you got to run the ball. Simple as that. Put up points early, run the ball from there. Offensively, defensively, I'm not as worried, which is crazy to say now.
Yeah.
I think we'll continue to get pressure. I think guys are really getting into their roles.
Yeah.
And I think Corey said earlier, keep Kyle Hamilton healthy. We got to, because he likes playing in that box, and that box will get you hurt.
Yeah.
So we need him to stay healthy, but
that box will take you out.
Use him a lot. Yeah. So just gotta play solid defense, but offensively, we gotta get the ball in our playmakers' hands. We can't sit back there and run these deep routes and let Falafel just roll over and let somebody come in and blow up our quarterback, because they still have Quincy Williams on that side of the ball. They ain't got his brother, but they still got Quincy Williams on that side of the ball. So, yeah, I think that's got to be it, man. It's pretty simple game plan.
Yeah, it's this is the game. This is the kind of game like we've seen. Like you said, the defense. It feels like the guys are more confident in the plays that they're making. Like they're attacking the ball. Like you see them, they're attacking the ball wherever it is. Even in the secondary, Marlon's getting interceptions, Malachi's getting interceptions. Keon Martin's been playing really well. You're starting to see a lot of guys that are second or third on the depth chart get some play, and they're making plays. Like I feel like Mike Green's getting there. Like there were some plays last week that he was almost there, and he's going to start making some plays too. I think the Draymond Jones has been a really good addition to that defensive line.
Yeah.
They can move him around
And
on
he's
that
physical.
line to get pressure. So that's been really good as well. Nate Wiggins is playing phenomenal football so far as of late. So yeah, the guys on defense are very confident. This is a game where we need to see guys just like amped up on offense, man. Like I said, I want to see let these guys make some plays, man. Let's go make some plays. When they get in the red zone, go score. Be confident about going getting the ball. And I think a lot of that too may come from Lamar. Lamar has been frustrated the last few weeks, and this is one of those situations where whoever he uses a mentor, whoever he talks to, outside of football to kind of give some words of encouragement, kind of maybe tell him like this. It kind of reminds me of watching that Jordan documentary. I think it's The Air Up There. That was during the 90s after one of their first three-peat. And I remember he asked his dad when they were playing the Knicks in I think game 6 or game 7 of the Eastern Conference Finals. And he was like, Dad, what should I do in this situation? And he's like, go lead them. He's like, whether they follow you or not, but you got to go out. You have to be out there and be the guy. You got to go out there and do it. So I think, again, I feel like Martin has been frustrated and he's used to wearing the Superman cape. But I think for this game, especially just to get the guys over that, over that ledge, to get them over the other side of that fence, Lamar is going to have to go over there. Ain't bad ankle, bad hamstring and all. Like he's going to have to kind of will this offense, in spite of Monken and all the rest of these guys, go will this offense to that other side because this is the time, these next 4 to 5 weeks, to get right before the playoffs. They can't go sputtering into the playoffs. They could be going in at like 10-7 or whatever. Yeah, they made it, but I'm like, we don't feel good about this offense right now. This is the time. This is the time to get right. So, yeah. So before we go, what's the score? What we got?
All right. So I'm gonna learn my lesson from last week. I'm thinking this team is just gonna like beat somebody by 30. I'm going 24-10 Ravens. 24-10. I think defense plays well. Hey, put my man Trenton Simpson's hand in the dirt, Corey.
Yeah.
Let him go rush the passer. I see another sack for him. I think Tez Walker gets a touchdown. I think we see more Keaton Mitchell. We see some big plays, big chunks in the run game with him. I think Lamar is solid. He does what he has to do. I don't think it's a Jackson 4, Jackson 5, or any of it this week. But I think we control the clock and we win this game.
Yeah. I'm going to go 26-9 for the Ravens, 26-9. And hopefully, they hold that lead early on and Lamar could just come out of the game in the fourth quarter and like, all right, just put what's his name in that Snoop out there and just get ready for the Bengals game on Thursday night. So because they got a short week. They got a short week coming up. So I think it's definitely imperative. Hey, let's put the points on them early. Get our defense just, Tyrod Taylor is not the same Tyrod when he was here. He's a little bit older now. You can't move around as fast. So same kind of game plan they had against Shador and Dylan Gabriel and JJ McCarthy. Like same kind of game plan you got to have with them as well. So, all right, well, that's it from us. And hopefully the Ravens win this one handily. So we can get ready for this Thursday night game. And so happy Thanksgiving to everyone. And probably won't do a show again until after because we'll be out of town, I think, for Thanksgiving. So, yeah, we'll see. But everybody have a happy Turkey Day, all that. Enjoy and, get those presents for Black Friday coming up. So, catch you guys later. Peace.